Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I am Vedant Agarwal. Our lead story. Well, the first report in the Pooja Khedkar case has been submitted. The report has been submitted to the Chief Secretary. Now, remember, this was a contentious case in which a probationary IS officer is in question. She demanded various privileges that she was not entitled to, including a beacon on her car, a VIP number plate, and also a special chamber. Remember, she also claimed that she was mentally disabled, but these are claims that will be probed by a special panel that has been formed by the central government as well. But a report has now been submitted to the Chief Secretary. My colleague Rahul Kulkarni is now joining us live on the phone line. So Rahul, importantly, this report mentions that she used her power to, in a sense, get the police to release her relative arrested in a theft case. So these are important allegations that are mentioned in this report.
करेक्ट। नवी मुंबई में ये एक मामला सामने आया था मई महीने में, जब वहाँ पे एक स्टील की चोरी का मामला दर्ज हुआ था। तो वहाँ के डीसीपी को पूजा खेड़कर ने फोन किया था और उन्होंने डीसीपी को इस बात को लेके प्रेशराइज किया कि जिसको आपने गिरफ्तार किया है वो मेरे रिश्तेदार है और उनको छुड़ाइए। तो ये जो बात है वो कल डीसीपी ने महाराष्ट्र के चीफ सेक्रेटरी सुजाता सौनिक की उनको रिपोर्ट किया है। उसी के साथ में ही पुणे डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर ने भी अपनी रिपोर्ट सौंपी है। तो महाराष्ट्र की चीफ सेक्रेटरी सुजाता सौनिक ने अपनी जो पहली रिपोर्ट है वो मसूरी के एलबीएनएस को सौंपी गई है। आपको पता ही है कि लगभग 2 रिपोर्ट मांगी गई थी, एक पीएमओ की तरफ से मांगी गई थी, एक सिंगल मेंबर कमेटी भी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट की गई है। तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि पूजा खेड़कर के मामले में सबसे बड़ी बात जिसमें जो नई बात सामने आई है, जो नवी मुंबई का मामला है, उस मामले के साथ में ही पहली रिपोर्ट ये सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को सौंपी गई है। अगले 2 दिन में दूसरी रिपोर्ट भी सौंपे जाने की चांसेस है।
जी राहुल, बहुत शुक्रिया तमाम जानकारी के लिए। इंपॉर्टेंट डेवलपमेंट इन द पूजा खेड़कर केस। द फर्स्ट रिपोर्ट बाय द प्रोब पैनल नाउ हैज बीन सबमिटेड टू द चीफ सेक्रेटरी. And well, the other big headline at this hour, 3 gangsters have been shot dead in an encounter, in a joint encounter by the Delhi and Haryana police. In fact, this is a key encounter because one of the gangsters that has been shot dead was actually involved in the sensational Delhi Burger King firing, in which one person was killed as well. It was an interstate law enforcement action with state police teams of both the states involved in this encounter. 3 gangsters, in fact, who were charged with extortion and murder have been gunned down. My colleague Gurpreet Cheena is now joining us live on the phone line. Gurpreet, what more details do you have?
Well, very clearly, this is the joint operation between the Delhi police and the special task force of Haryana. And what we have learned, the 3 gangsters had been gunned down. The police as well as the STF, they have got information, specific information about these gangsters. And for the last 2 days, we have seen a lot of questions are being raised over the Haryana government for failing to control law and order situation. So it seems, specifically in Hisar, a lot of traders, they are holding protests. They are saying they are getting ransom calls, extortion calls from the gangster, and around 5 crore had been demanded from some of the traders from Hisar. What we have learned in the preliminary investigation, police say during the course of investigation, they learned that these gangsters were involved for the extortion calls, and that's why they were trying to trace them, and finally they were able to get their location, and where there was cross-firing between the police and the gangster, and during this cross-firing, we have seen 3 gangsters of Haryana, they have been gunned down. So let's see what will be the further investigation and what type of police is going to get leads and how many gangsters they are going to nab in the coming days. But as of now, what we have seen after the murder of JJP leader in Hansi, a lot of questions are being raised over the law and order situation in Haryana.
All right, so 3 gangsters gunned down there in a joint encounter. Moving now to the other big headline. Well, the Karni Sena chief has been injured in a shootout in Jaipur. He is not seriously injured is what we're reporting at this point. And there seems to be the rivalry between the two factions of the Karni Sena that's really at the heart of this entire issue. Of course, it brings to mind the absolutely horrific Goga Medi murder as well. But my senior colleague Harsha Kumari Singh is now joining us live on the phone line. So Harsha, there are no serious injuries being reported is what you're saying.
Yes, but what has happened is that I just saw Shiv Singh Shekhawat, who's the leader of the Karni Sena, one of the factions. He took over after Goga Medi was brutally murdered, and he's live on NDTV, on one of the NDTV channels, and he's telling us about how Mahipal Makrana, who is the leader of the other faction, visibly apparently drunk or under the influence of some kind of intoxication, sort of barged into his office with 4 people and tried to fire a round at him. That's when his bodyguard overpowered him, and there was also some kind of a shootout. And in fact, the pistol Shiv Singh is saying that Makrana was holding was in his hand. When he went, it was cocked. So when he tried to take the pistol out, apparently one bullet fired from there. It grazed the inside of his finger very marginally. Shiv Singh Shekhawat is fine. Mahipal Makrana has been taken to hospital, is what we've been given to understand. Shiv Singh Shekhawat has also alleged that he was getting, threats from Pakistan numbers, and he has alleged that Mahipal Makrana said that, he would finish him off. But of course, since Mahipal Makrana appears to be heavily intoxicated, one is not too sure whether that kind of a statement will, still hold out. So as of now, it seems to be this inter-faction sort of rivalry within 2 factions of the Rajput community, the Karni Sena, which split into the Sri Rajput Karni Sena and the other faction. So that seems to be the case. Mahipal Makrana has been taken to hospital, and like I said, Shiv Singh Shekhawat is fine. His bodyguard also fired at Mahipal Makrana, but no critical injuries. We're still awaiting a police version because all this is still a developing story.
That's right, Harsha. Thanks very much for joining us with the latest there. So both factions of the Karni Sena, in a sense, blaming each other. But there, of course, a shootout in Jaipur. The Karni Sena chief has been injured, and he says that it's the rival faction that's actually responsible for this shootout. And looking at the other big headline at this hour, well, the Maharashtra local polls in which the NDA has really swept the polls after what has been a wipeout in the Lok Sabha polls. Remember, the NDA, or the Mahayuti as it's called in Maharashtra, won 9 out of the 11 seats. In fact, it's the BJP-led Mahayuti that actually performed exceedingly well as far as the Maharashtra local polls are concerned. It's a big setback for Sharad Pawar's camp of the NCP, because the candidate that he backed actually lost, and he was sacrificed in these elections. Remember, Uddhav Thackeray's last-minute gamble of fielding a 12th candidate has also backfired.
महायुति का जो काम है, गुगली ने बैटिंग मजबूत हो गई और पूरे उनकी विकेट निकाल दी, इसलिए दोनों भी यहाँ पर है और तीसरे हमारे अजीत दादा भी है। हमने कहा था, विश्वास था कि पूरे 9 के 9 लोग हमारे जीतेंगे। कई लोगों ने उसमें कहा था, कुछ चैलेंज भी दिया था कि ये चमत्कार होगा, ये होगा। अभी चमत्कार होगा है, चमत्कार हुआ है। महायुति के जितने हमारे विधायक हैं उन्होंने तो वोट दिया ही, उनको मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं। लेकिन महायुति के काम पर, विकास पर अन्य पार्टी के लोगों ने भी हमें सपोर्ट किया, उनका भी मैं अभिनंदन करता हूं।
आज हम सभी के लिए ये बहुत ही हर्ष की बात है कि हमारे मुख्यमंत्री एकनाथराव शिंदे जी के नेतृत्व में हमारी महायुति की 9 सीटें, 11 में से 9 सीटें विधान परिषद में चुनकर आई है। बीजेपी की 5, शिवसेना की 2, एनसीपी की 2, ऐसी 9 सीटें हमारी चुनकर आई है। और जो लोग ये कह रहे थे कि हमारी सीटें गिराएंगे, उनके भी वोट हमारे उम्मीदवारों को मिले हैं। एक अप्रत्याशित इस प्रकार की जीत आज हमको मिली है, और मेरा विश्वास है ये जीत का सिलसिला ऐसा ही जारी रहेगा।
5 विधायकों ने हमें सपोर्ट किया है, उनका मैं शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूं और धन्यवाद भी देना चाहता हूं। और सबका अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूँ। चुनाव जब रहता है तो एलिगेशन होते हैं, एलिगेशन के बारे में मैं ज़्यादा नहीं सोचता, अपना काम करने का, विकास करने का और विकास के रास्ते से आगे जाने का।
चुनाव में हमारे पास खुद के हमारे 15 ही वोट थे, उसके बाद में हमारा कैंडिडेट चुनकर आता है। उससे बड़ी बात क्या है, ये महाविकास आघाड़ी की जो सहयोग सभी को मिलता है उसका एक परिणाम है।
A lot of buzz about cross voting, something that all of us were talking about since morning, that there could be cross voting, but from which side to which side, that was something that we were unsure of. Yes, a big setback for MVA, big relief for Mahayuti, which had been facing a lot of backlash post the Lok Sabha election results. There were rumours about Ajit Pawar MLAs wanting to switch sides, and there could be cross voting from their end, but looks like Ajit Pawar managed to keep his flock together. Entire Mahayuti managed to keep its flock together, which is why the clean sweep of 9 out of 9. But when you look at MVA, Congress seems to have sort of cross-voted. At least that's what the number looks like. It's a secret ballot. We wouldn't really know for sure. But if you look at the numbers, had it not been for cross-voting, perhaps Mahayuti may not have won. Of course, there are independent candidates. There are smaller parties. Even if you divide them, there are neutral parties also. So even if you divide them, perhaps they may not have numbers unless a party had cross-voted. And, when you look at MVA, Congress had surplus numbers, and it should have ideally gone to either Jayant Patil or Milind Narvekar. Milind Narvekar, of course, scraped through and won. Jayant Patil, very, very big setback for him because he was completely dependent on Congress votes. Even Narvekar, for that matter, was depending on Congress votes because they had surplus. The other two did not have surplus. They were short. And they were also, of course, depending on independent candidates. So yes, big setback for MVA. Perhaps it happened because of cross-voting. One wouldn't know, but that's what the number is looking like. And a big, big boost for Mahayuti considering what it faced post-Lok Sabha results, and big relief for Ajit Pawar as well. So yes, we'll have to wait and see what happens next, who is going to move to which direction, because Congress MLAs were unhappy over a period of time over what is going on within MVA. So will we see people like Zishan Siddiqui perhaps switching sides because he was not present in many of the meetings? His father had already switched sides to NCP. So Congress looks like could be unhappy and there could be churn there.
So Maharashtra politics in a churn ahead of the crucial assembly elections. But moving now to the other big headline, where an unprecedented offensive mounted by the government over the 1975 emergency, with the Home Minister announcing that June 25th will be observed as the Constitution Murder Day or the Samvidhan Hatya Divas. This of course comes after the showdown in Parliament as well over the emergency. The Congress says that this is nothing but a headline-grabbing exercise and a move to divert attention from pressing issues like the NEET issue as well as a peace solution for Manipur.
ये बहुत अच्छा निर्णय है क्योंकि हमको एक एग्जाम्पल सेट करना है कि भविष्य में कांग्रेस पार्टी ने जैसे संविधान की हत्या की ऐसा कभी दोबारा ना हो, इसके लिए निर्णय किया गया है। ये बहुत देश के लिए जरूरी है, संविधान के लिए जरूरी है। और कांग्रेस पार्टी संविधान की हत्या करते हैं और फिर नाटक करता है, संविधान का कॉपी पकड़ के लहराने का नाटक करता है। ये बहुत गलत बात है। और जिन्होंने भी 1975 में जो जुल्म सहा है, जो कांग्रेस पार्टी ने टॉर्चर किया है इनोसेंट लोगों को, सिविल लिबर्टी राइट ख़त्म कर दिया है, फ्रीडम ऑफ प्रेस एक्सप्रेशन सारा ख़त्म किया गया था, वो दोबारा ना हो, इसके लिए बड़ा कदम उठाया गया है।
We all know that the BJP is rattled and they are unable to face the constitution story. We all know that when we named the India Alliance as India, they try to bring Bharat to it. Now when Jai Samvidhan is an issue, they wanted to divert it from this kind of things. It's a diversionary tactics. The RSS has trained BJP friends for it. And we all know that the real issues, they want to divert the people of India from the real issues of NEET, the examination leaks, the Agniveer's failure and the price rise. This is a diversionary tactics. People won't accept this kind of politics. People will reject this kind of diversionary tactics.
Welcome back. In more trouble for YSR CP chief and former Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy. He, along with 2 senior IPS officers and 3 others, have been booked in a 3-year-old attempt to murder case filed by TDP MLA Raghu Ramakrishna Raju. So this is, of course, amid a huge political flashpoint between the TDP and the YSRCP after the TDP swept the polls as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned, but certainly trouble mounting for Jagan Mohan Reddy. And other news now, well, simmering troubles for Kaveri River water sharing between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu has been reignited again. Despite a normal monsoon in Karnataka, the state says that there is a deficit as far as the inflows into the 4 main reservoirs are concerned, which is why there is no water to actually release to Tamil Nadu. Remember, this case played out in the Supreme Court as well, and no agreement has been reached at even now.
So we have decided today's meeting that we should appeal to the Kaveri Water Management Authority, and also we have taken a decision to call all-party meeting on 14th of this month at 4 o'clock in the evening. And also central ministers will be invited to this meeting, all-party meeting.
Decision is that one TMC of water has been asked to, but still we have 30% deficit of water as on today. We are not able to position, so we have called a meeting of all-party meetings on Sunday. All-party leaders and including the union ministers we have requested and the Kaveri Basin legislators. In the meantime, we have decided to appeal to the authority again, regulatory authority about the situation, then we will take a call.
In other news now, Adani Group's Vizhinjam port, India's first transshipment port near Kovalam Beach in Kerala, received its first mothership, San Fernando, which is a vessel of the world's 2nd largest shipping company. And it is historic in the sense that it arrived with over 2,000 containers on it. And with that, we'll take a short break now, but news continues on the other side.